Today we're talking about diets. This is going to be a two-parter, and they're going to cover the why in regards to diets rather than the how. There are a lot of videos on how in terms of instructions. You could find just basic Google search, basic YouTube search, and I'm going to cover why a lot of them actually do work. Even the ones that could sound a little bit on the crazy side. And trust me, there's a lot of diets out there that are on the crazy side. The reason why a diet would work is because in the grand scheme of comparing that diet, no matter how crazy it could get, comparing it to what a person might have been doing prior to that, it's still an improvement. So, if we're gonna talk about, there's a dietitian who talks about, who mentions the term SAD, S-A-D, the Statistical American Diet, which is mainly processed foods, from the grains to the meats to the high sugar content, high fat content. High everything content, but very low nutrient density, which is probably another topic that I'm going to touch up on at some point. Nutrient density is basically how much nutrients are packed into a portion of a food, and that's really one of the most important things. So it'll definitely be covered at some point. But diets don't usually factor in that aspect at all. Well, not at all, but many of them don't. So when a diet works, if you're going to compare it to the Statistical American Diet of the high fat, high sugar, high everything, overly processed, and in copious amounts as well. A lot of times when a person isn't on a diet, there's less of a regulation. It's just, you could think of going through your day. If you're not on any specific regimen and you're struggling with the body weight aspect or the health aspect, a lot of people also change diets for health reasons, and they also experience a lot of improvement when they take on a new diet, almost regardless of the diet. And that's because, again, moving to a more regulated, more regimented system, structured dieting is actually better than what they were doing prior. And that's, of course, just assuming heavily that a person was just doing the statistical approach of eating, just whatever is available, drive-throughs, drinking orange juice, which is garbage, like just right from the beginning of the day. If we're talking about cereal, that's just processed milk on processed grains with processed sugars, or, it could get pretty dicey. We don't have to get into details. I'm trying to keep this short, but you could imagine for yourself, like, how right from the get-go and throughout the day you could just even keep a journal, keeping a diet journal. That really gives you some good insight on how your day's going in terms of eating. So most diets work because they're a step better than what was available prior to comparing it to what you did before. It's already a better step. Now the question is it sustainable? And that is something more long term. If you're doing whatever diet you're doing, if it's more of a temporary thing, then you could do it and you could get back to a more regular lifestyle. It's always better, of course, to have a better perspective on these things rather than looking at it as a diet. I definitely encourage you to just look at it as lifestyle. Even the word diet does have negative connotations because you're thinking, hey, I'm punishing myself, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm trying to get healthier, I'm trying to, like for me, when I was on a specific diet, when I first was diagnosed with colitis, um, I was given like the saddest sheet in the world. It was just a sheet with this list of foods that uh, you're allowed to eat and the ones that you can't. It was mostly bland. It was mostly just basically hospital food. But then my aunt used to make it at home, and it was just the worst thing ever. It was really the worst thing ever. Um, like especially being 12, 13 years old and having to sit at a table with other family members or eating normal food. So so the term diet really just generally for most of us has a negative connotation. So you want to look at it as you're just changing your lifestyle. Uh, that's the most important thing, because your mindset will dictate your success, and that's the next video. But really, uh, you just need to think of it as you're changing your life. And also, now you understand that had you or a friend or a family or someone who did something different and it actually worked, it's working for that main reason, that they're it's just better compared to what they did, whether it's just less processed food or lower calories, or it's portioned where the person had to actually prepare the meal or work through a service where they get the food delivered to them. These are all much more regimented, much more structured, and that's why they work. The goal is, of course, to have something more sustainable and a sustainable mindset, and that's why I'm talking about not calling it diet anymore. Just do away with the word. It's a caca word. All right. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully that you picked up a gem or two that could really help change this for you. Of course, at the end of the day, I think if you just aim at the health aspect, everything else in terms of aesthetics or weight or all that will eventually resolve itself, unless there is something with your hormone regulation, thyroid problems, whatnot. So of course, at the end of the day, you just want to improve your lifestyle and quality of outcome. So use your finger bone, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know what you want.